So can you starve the tumor cell of their fermentable fuels and kill them? And the answer is absolutely. And then your question is, well, if that's so simple, how come no one's doing it? And the answer is, we always have to go back to energy. Without energy, nothing can survive or grow. So you say to yourself, well, we breathe air, we exhale CO2, we produce CO2 and water from the foods that we eat. You and I are having a conversation. We're talking. Obviously, there's energy going on somewhere in our brains and the rest of our body. And that allows us to do what we do. Now, if you and I were to take a cup of cyanide and we would both drink it together, neither of us would have much energy. We would both fall and collapse right in front of the screens. Let me put it another way. If you and I both had tumors growing in our body and we were both drinking the cyanide together, and someone would say, whoa, what a catastrophe. These two guys that think they know what they're doing just killed themselves, but they had cancer. So we're going to take the tumor out, we're going to look at it. And the tumor cells would be fine. The cyanide would not kill the tumor cells. So we say, whoa, what's going on? How is it possible that the cyanide killed these folks, but it didn't kill their tumor? And the answer is the tumor doesn't use oxygen for energy. It uses fermentation for energy. So Warburg did those experiments years ago, given rats that had tumors cyanide, and the rat died, but not the tumor. And it was clear evidence that the tumors are not using oxygen for their survival. So what are they living on? How are they growing and alive if they're not using oxygen? And it turns out that they use fermentation. So that fermentation is a form of energy that bypasses oxygen. So that's interesting. They're fermenting, huh? Well, what are the fuels that are driving their fermentation metabolism? What are they using? And it's glucose, the sugar glucose, and the amino acid glutamine. And those are the two fermentable fuels that allow cancer cells to grow. So the answer to your question is, yes, cancer cells live, and can you starve them? Okay, so if we know they're fermenting, and we know that they can't live without fermentable fuels, and you know that there are only two fermentable fuels that are keeping them alive, then you target and take those two fermentable fuels away, and they die. So can you starve the tumor cell of their fermentable fuels and kill them? And the answer is absolutely. And then your question is, well, if that's so simple, how come no one's doing it? And the answer is because everybody thinks cancer is a genetic disease. They're not thinking about what's keeping the cells alive.